All right, welcome everybody to another episode of Less Kevin, More Tech. Special guest star today, Frank Kokay. Frank, welcome.
Les, thank you. Appreciate you having me on this morning.
Yeah, you aren't kidding. We're happy to have you. So, Frank,
Happy
you
to be
just
here.
you just joined our team here at UTEC.
Yep.
One of our largest initiatives that we are going with our client base is production print.
Right.
And your history is a blue chip history with production print.
Sure. Spent a good deal of time in the commercial industrial printing sector. So.
Yeah. So why don't you share some of that with our customers?
I
and
will.
our
I
audience.
appreciate you asking that. So, as we look at that, we talk about, print and production print, or you could even phrase it as being more of a commercial type of an item these days, because it's transformed over the years of what we look at from print, going back a decade or two to what it's become today. And it's really
hold
become
on
more
a second. You tell me you've been in production print for 2 decades?
a little bit longer, actually, than that. Last going back into the mid-'90s, actually, when, digital color first was in its infancy at the time. And
Right.
It was really an exciting time to kind of experience that and usher that into the market. And more importantly, though, too, even at that point, how that technology was utilized to help companies communicate and be able to articulate their value to their prospective clients. Certainly have a lot of stories to tell in that area. That being said, it was mostly done at that time in just like presentation type materials.
Right.
That was a big thing that we'd focus on back then. And now coming forward here into the 21st century, it's really transformed dramatically. And it's moved more towards branding, brand identification,
Gotcha.
and really being able to get that type of recognition. And so now it's really kind of ushered in an entirely different area of print.
So what are some examples of that? Because we hear a lot that, it's a paperless society, printing's going down, but yet every statistic we look at shows that production print is actually growing.
Yeah,
So
I
what are
think
some examples?
some examples would be like what we look at with shipping, right? If we think about just what the pandemic had kind of ushered in, it's really done a lot of people no favors, but it did do production some favors. And that is that it heavily elevated, e-commerce, that market. So now packaging really kind of comes into play with that. So everything that, is being communicated there as a package, whether it's a box or materials that product might be held in, are being communicated as to the direct mail pieces now as well.
Yes.
Have also increased dramatically. One of the important things is with print and why that type of marketing, that type of print will never go at the wayside.
So I got to tell you, Frank, I mean, I look, when I get home, I look at the mailbox. We get more mail now than it seems like ever.
Sure.
And a lot of it is this oversized postcard printing, right?
Right.
We also notice that it's not generic in nature.
Right.
It's usually something
Personalized.
personalized or something, sometimes I see stuff that I know I was on the web looking for. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the way, of course, a number of entities do kind of market to those different populations that they're trying to attract, with their product. I think the other thing, too, is as you look at that and you open up your mail, for an example, as opposed to looking at like an email, you engage a couple of different senses, with that. And the one is touch. You're actually touching that piece. And now also you may notice, too, as you go through and thumb through your mail, some of those materials might have a unique texture to them.
Right.
There could even be like raised print on the document too. So that really does kind of engage now your mind, your touch, and you're engaging different senses. So it makes it more of a memorable, piece as opposed to just simply looking at a screen and then clicking off of that and now it's forgotten.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, that's cool. Are you seeing that as a growth area then?
Oh, tremendously.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And so part of your role here with UTEC as our production specialist is to, tackle that and find our areas for opportunity.
Yeah, it's a really exciting assignment that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, so now that you've seen the, the technology that we have, what's your thoughts? Because
yeah.
we're talking, you're a veteran. You've seen several manufacturers' products.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
What's your take?
My take on especially our higher caliber press, being actually a 6-color capability. There, of course, it offers a lot of advantages over other competitive technologies. I think the biggest area is that we can expand color gamut. Also, the media support as well. It can handle a pretty broad range of media up to 400 GSM. So that's going to obviously be able to complement different types of media that we can run through our press. And then with the expanded color gamut, I think it's going to complement it nicely. So I think there, we're poised in a good position.
Yeah. So where do you see, I guess, who's buying that?
Yeah, typically what we'd find, would be your larger commercial type printing, shops here in the area.
Yeah.
Be making that kind of an investment into that technology.
How about, is there a room for a corporate implant?
Oh, certainly there is. Absolutely, depending on the size of that organization.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So that's going to be your your main target.
Correct.
Point. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what? Just share a little bit about maybe something personal, because you're going to be out in the marketplace. The folks in the commercial print are going to be getting out and meeting with you.
Yeah.
So let a little bit about you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a little bit about me. Of course, born and raised here, Michigan.
Yeah.
Individual. A lot of time in Detroit. Of course, my background has been historically with print and imaging technologies. So. Yeah, I mean, I'm married for 30-some years, 3 children. Yeah, so that's a little bit about me.
Yeah, and a lot of experience.
Yeah,
a lot of experience.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. You like the technology we have?
I think it's a very stable technology from what I see so far.
And you see it as a growth market?
Oh, there's no question.
Yeah.
No question. Kind
of peering around the corner, so to speak. Where do you see this thing going for you and for UTEC?
I see it, of course, just a tremendous growth market looking around that corner. It can allow us to go wider, deeper with a number of our existing clients already. And then just the expansion, right, opportunity there within the markets themselves, I think is tremendous. So I'm looking at tremendous growth. It's really to be exciting. It's a really exciting initiative here.
What kind of, where do you see the technology going?
Yeah, I every time I say I see the technology has kind of really reached its pinnacle,
right? Something
else occurs that, for example, like with our BP 1200 class press, with 6-color capability, expanding color gamut, I thought that was already done, but it has. It's reemerged into that. So I also see, of course, other technologies kind of coming into, the industry as well that might have some different differentiators.
Like finishing.
Absolutely. Yeah, advanced finishing is probably one of the biggest, because now as we look at that and how companies themselves or organizations can better utilize their internal resources as opposed to being weighted into those tactical type of areas, because that's their biggest expense, right? So, that's where finishing and taking off the tactical areas off of their plate is going to make a lot more sense for them, so they can get that product out the door.
Because I've seen like this, some of the technology where you're having the cutouts, the trims, where it's actually creating product packaging, not mock-ups.
Yes.
Not just mock-ups, not just proofs, but actual packaging.
Right on the fly.
Right. Yeah, right on the fly.
Yeah, I mean, advanced finishing is really, I think that's one of the areas within the industry that it's really been a lot of innovation coming into that piece of it, automating a lot of those manual processes, that existed before. And kind of now, if you notice too, it's almost, the technology has become kind of multifaceted.
Okay.
So you have creasing, folding, cutting technology, all within one platform, as opposed to separate stations that you used to have previously. So we're seeing a lot of innovation in that. Also, another big growth area that I see in production, commercial, industrial printing is, wide format. That's another big growth area as well. So, yeah.
So let's go into that. What are you seeing here?
Yeah, what we're seeing a lot, of course, Joe, if you just, when you drive down the freeway, for example, and you're seeing wide format print all over company vehicles, whether
vehicle
it's
wraps.
Absolutely, straight trucks, vans, etc. You see it, right? So that's a big growth market, and signage itself is on a tremendous growth path as well. So that's also another very exciting area.
How about signage? Explore that a little bit with me.
Well, there's a variety of different type of signage, So if we look at just, for example, like UTEC, our sign, we look at, the microphone sitting in front of us right now, that's our mark, and that's that organization's or that company's brand. So that type of signage like that, we're able to print and apply it to, different material, coffee mug, right? So, those types of things. So that's really what signage kind of opens up and goes into, and it's just another way that print's transformed. So it's really kind of cool.
So do you see people bringing that in-house, or is that going to be something always an outsource?
It really kind of all depends, depending on the organization and what they're trying to get accomplished. And, I think, if the organization is large enough and that they have the infrastructure to actually then take control of that internally, then absolutely they are, If not, then they will outsource it.
Excellent. Give me some thoughts, original thoughts from Frank Kokay on the goals, the plans that you have with UTEC here.
Yeah. So, some of the goals that I have here with the organization is get us established in that commercial industrial printing type sector, and obviously, continue to build on that and help, UTEC diversify its portfolio, allow it to grow and become more interwoven, with its existing customers. And then, obviously create a good solid foundation from that's one of my goals.
Yeah, so, we've had just an excellent history with our customers, our clients, with our service, our help desk, and we're doing things internally. We're developing our internal support structure, from the connectivity perspective as well as the break fix perspective. So I firmly believe that we're just going to continue to grow that customer experience, that positive feel that our clients have when they work with UTEC.
Yeah, I think that's one of the unique things that UTEC can offer as opposed to other, entities out there, is that personalized, customized kind of an approach.
Right.
We can mold to what their initiatives are, what their goals are. And just like I think any good partner should align with it,
Yeah, we're in a unique position in that we're small enough, right, that, we have the backing from large manufacturers, but we're small enough that we can have that kind of, experience, that kind of touch. Billings here local, services here local. You can, meet with Kevin and,
Precisely. Now, you look at the depth of the resources that we have here, I think that really kind of says a lot to who we are. There's a lot of depth here, a lot of time, relative to the industry and other industries that have kind of accumulated together to make us who we are today.
That's awesome. So we kind of wrap things up. Our typical question at the end is, what's your favorite bourbon?
Well, I'm really not a bourbon drinker, but on occasion I will have a beer once in a while. So yeah.
So what's your favorite?
It'd be Miller Lite. Go Lions!
Well, Frank, welcome. We appreciate you on the team.
Appreciate it.
We're just excited for the future, and it's bright skies ahead for all of us.
Absolutely agree.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Yep.
Yep.